So whatever the things that we have in demo class, and those things will be getting into another class, will be getting into another class. I will be explaining you clearly. Just remember that how you are given reply, that two students has given reply that encapsulation means wrapping up of data into one single unit. Like that, inheritance means the process of deriving a new class from an existing class. The process of deriving a new class from an existing class. So the old class can be called as superclass or base class or parent class. The old class can be called as superclass, base class, or parent class. And the new class can be called as subclass or derived class or child class. Subclass or derived class or a child class. Okay, just take this two lines, it's enough. This thing we'll be discussing later. Inheritance is nothing but the process of deriving a new class from an existing class. Inheritance is a process of deriving a new class from an existing class. How we are deriving and what are all things that you are going to get, I will discuss later. Next, types of inheritance: we have single inheritance, multiple inheritance, multi-level inheritance, hierarchical inheritance, hybrid inheritance. Single inheritance, multiple inheritance, multi-level inheritance, hierarchical inheritance, and then a hybrid inheritance. Let's see one by one clearly. Let's keep adding single inheritance, all of you. Have you noted down the first point? Inheritance, the process of deriving a new class from an existing class. Have you done it?
Yes, sir.
Fine. Yes. Next, keep adding single inheritance. Now, single inheritance, what happens is, suppose I have a class A. This class A consists of variables. This class A consists of variables as well as methods. Okay. So let's take this thing. Try to understand this, student. If you understood this, and remaining thing is very simple. See, every concept I'm treating you as a new person. అంటే మీకు ఆల్రెడీ C++లో ఉంది కదా అన్న పదం నేను ఎప్పుడు యూజ్ చేయకుండా మీకు టాపిక్ క్లియర్ గా ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేసుకుంటూ వస్తున్నాను. ఐఎమ్ లీస్ట్ బాదర్డ్ అబౌట్ C++ and all. If I'm bothering about the C++ and all means, then what we can easily complete the things just like that. Okay, but I'm treating you that you don't know anything about C++, and like that I'm what giving my lectures. So try to be look into that aspect also. Now let us assume that this class A consists of variables. It contains variables like A comma B comma C semicolon, and it contains some methods. Contains what? Methods. Void space M1 method, and inside this M1 method we are writing some logic, and then we'll be having one more method, void space M2 method, and inside this M2 method we are writing what some logic over there. Okay, like these are the two what things that we have, that is variables, that is what variables, and then methods. Two methods we have. In which class we have in class A we have what three variables and two methods. We don't have main method. Let us assume that we don't have main method in A class. Now from this class A I would like to write a class called B. I would write a class called what? B. That means from this class A I'm going to write a class called B, and this class is going to become child class, and A class is going to become parent class. A class is going to become parent class, or else we can call it as base class, or else we can call it as derived class, and here we can call it as what? A super class. Okay, or we can call it as a subclass. That means if you are using here super means, then associated word of that is going to be sub. If you are using here parent class means, then associated class is going to be child, and if you are using base means, here the associated word is going to be derived. Okay, mostly we'll be using a word called parent and then child. So this is when we are going to write a new class from an existing class. This existing class can be called as parent, and new class can be called as what? Can be called as what? Child. It's a parent child relationship. Already parent is there, and we are going to what we are already parent is there, and we are going to get one more class from that. We are going to write one more class from that, and that is what? A child class. Okay, this is parent child relationship. Here A is going to be parent and B is going to be what? A child. Now let us assume that A contains ABC, M1 and M2. Now in this B, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some other variables in B like int x, y, z, x comma y comma z, int x comma y comma z, and then I'm going to take some other thing like methods, void space m3, some data I'm going to take closing case, void space m4. Now these things are there. That means your A contains three variables and two methods, and your B contains three variables and two methods. Three variables and two methods. Now what happens is this B was extended from this A, so B will be acting as a child to A. If B is acting as a child to A means then whatever the things that we have in A, all those things will be available to this B also. That means these variables and methods, whatever the variables and methods that we have in A, all those things are available to this B class also. All those things are going to be available in this B class also. Okay, that's the meaning of inheritance. That means here properties in the sense, what's the variables and methods that we have in parent class, and all those variables and methods are going to come into a child class, That means we can access ABC, we can access M1, we can access M2, as well as we can access XYZ, M3, and then M4. In which class? Child class. Clear with this, students, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So make a note of this. Take this, all of you completed. Completed.
Yes, sir.
Right. So now this is clear for everyone. Very simple. A class contains some set of variables and methods, and B is derived from A, and B is going to be child, A is going to be parent, and whatever variables and methods that we have in A, all those variables and methods are available in B class. That's it. Remember that if B was derived from A means then A is going to be parent, B is going to be child. Suppose D was derived from C means then C is going to be what? C is what?
Parent.
Parent, and D is what? Child, right? Next. So next type of inheritance is that we have what many types of inheritance. One is single inheritance, multiple inheritance, multi-level inheritance, hierarchical inheritance, hybrid inheritance. Among this, what Java is going to support single and then multi-level inheritance. Apart from that, it's not going to support any other inheritance, right? Let's see. So this is what single inheritance, where we'll be taking where one a class is going to be derived from another class. Next thing is multiple inheritance. Multiple inheritance means taking deriving one class from two classes, deriving one class from two classes. That means we have class A and class B, and from these two classes we'll be deriving only one single class, one single class. So this is not going to be possible in Java. Java is not going to support multiple inheritance, but your C++ is going to support multiple inheritance, but Java doesn't support multiple inheritance. We are not in a position to derive a class from two classes. We are not in a position to derive a class from more than one class. If you are going to do it, then Java compiler generates an error. That means C cannot be extended from A and B. So Java does not support multiple inheritance, but Java supports multiple inheritance through interfaces. Java supports multiple inheritance through interfaces, and how it is going to support through interfaces that we'll be discussing later. But remember that Java doesn't support multiple inheritance. What do you mean by multiple inheritance? Deriving a class from more than one class can be considered as what? Multiple inheritance. You are deriving a class more than one class, then it can be called as what? Multiple inheritance. And Java does not support multiple inheritance, and this problem, multiple inheritance can be supported with the help of what? Interfaces. With the help of what? Interfaces. Is it clear, students? Make a note of this fast. Is it clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Make a note of this. So Java does not support multiple inheritance, and this problem is solved using interfaces. Just another 10 minutes or 15 minutes I used to take, that's it. Because we'll be completing this inheritance and tomorrow we'll be going with the fresh topic. Completed? Students respond.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Prashant, what's 520? Who is 520 actually? What's the full name? What's your full name?
Sir?
Prashant, huh? Okay, okay. Fine, fine. Very good. Right. So now the next type of inheritance will be seen here. Multi-level inheritance. Multi-level inheritance means suppose we have a class called A. From this class A, we are deriving a class called B. Then A is going to be a superclass and B is going to be a subclass. Or else we can call that A is going to be a parent class and B is going to be a child class to A. And from this B, again I'm going to derive one more class called C. One more class called what? C. One more class called what? C. So what happens is here multi-level is going to be happen here, not multiple. We are not taking one single class from two different classes. What happened is first we are taken a B from A, and from this B we are taking one more class called C, and from this C we are going to take one more class called D, and from that D we can take one more class called E. It's a multi-level, step by step we are coming. Right, in one single step we are not combining two different classes. From two different classes we are not getting only one single class. So Java supports multi-level, but Java does not supports multiple inheritance. Java supports multi-level, but Java does not supports multiple inheritance. This multiple is not going to be supported by Java. Multiple, taking one single class from multiple classes can be called as multiple inheritance. Multi-level in the sense we are deriving a class from a class, and from a newly derived class again we are getting one more class, and that is what multi-level inheritance. Suppose we are deriving a class called B from A, again from B we are getting one more class called C. So this is what multi-level inheritance. That's the reason we are saying here A is superclass and B can be called as subclass to A, and C can be called as subclass to what? B. Subclass to what? B. Or else we can call this A is parent class, and this B can be called as child to A and parent to C, and this C can be called as child to B, and then that's a child to B or a subclass to B. Like that we can. Clear with this multi-level inheritance?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes,
make a note of this fast.
Sir,
Yeah, go ahead.
A లో ఉన్న వేరియబుల్స్ అండ్ మెథడ్స్ సి యాక్సెస్ చేసుకుంటారు కదా సార్?
Yes, whatever the variables that we have in A and whatever the variables that we have in B, and those variables can be accessed by C. But you need to ask the question in some other way, Pawan. I'm expecting that, but no one is asking that. నీ క్వశ్చన్ కి ఆన్సర్ వచ్చింది కదా పవన్?
ఎస్ సార్.
ఎవరికైనా డౌట్స్ ఉన్నాయా ఇందులో? ఒక సింపుల్ క్వశ్చన్ అడుగుతాను, చెప్తారా? మీకు అర్థమైతే ఒకసారి చెప్పండి. నాకు ప్రాబ్లం వచ్చిందిరా, ఏంటంటే ఏలో నేను XYZ అన్న వేరియబుల్స్ తీసుకున్నాను, XYZ. బిలో XYZ తీసుకున్నాను. ఇప్పుడు నేను సి నుంచి XYZ యాక్సెస్ చేస్తే నాకు ఏమొస్తాయి? BXYZ వస్తాయా, AXYZ వస్తాయా?
రెండో వస్తాయి సార్.
ఎలా వస్తాయి? ఇప్పుడు నేను బిలోకి వెళ్తాను, సిలో ఏం లేవు వేరియబుల్స్. అజ్యూమ్ దట్ వి డోంట్ టేక్ ఎనీ వేరియబుల్స్ ఇన్ సి. వేరియబుల్స్ ఏలో ఉన్నాయి, బిలో ఉన్నాయి. ఏలో XYZ ఉంది, బిలో XYZ ఉంది. నేను సి అన్న ఆబ్జెక్ట్ క్రియేట్ చేస్తాను. సి ఆబ్జెక్ట్ క్రియేట్ చేసినప్పుడు ఏ బిలో ఉన్న అన్ని వేరియబుల్స్ కూడా నాకు వచ్చేస్తాయి. ఓకే, ఎందుకంటే ఆ ప్రాపర్టీస్ అన్ని ఇన్హెరిటెన్స్ అవుతూ ఉంటాయి కాబట్టి అన్ని నాకు సిలోగా అవైలబుల్ లో ఉంటాయి. నేను XYZ అని సిలో అన్నప్పుడు BXYZ వస్తుందా, AXYZ వస్తుందా? సిలో ఏం లేవు, XYZ అనే వేరియబుల్స్ లేనప్పుడు నేను జస్ట్ XYZ అని సిలో తీసుకుంటే B వస్తాయి. మరి నాకు ఏవి కావాలి?
ఇప్పుడు కూడా దిస్ యూజ్ చేయొచ్చు.
This no. So tomorrow we'll be rectifying this. Now, next thing is hybrid inheritance. Is there multiple inheritance has been involved in this? Multiple inheritance involved by unda?
ఎస్ సార్.
ఎక్కడ ఉంది? Yes, from B and C we are getting a class called what? D, right? So hybrid inheritance in the sense it's a combination of different types of inheritance. First, from A we are getting B, and from A again we are getting C. In this case, no problem, because two classes can be extended from one single class, no problem. But what they are done again from these two classes, they're combining and they're getting what? Creating one more class. So this becomes what? A hybrid inheritance. This becomes what? A hybrid inheritance. Then Java is not going to support this hybrid inheritance. Java supports only two types of inheritance. One is single, other one is what? A multi-level. Apart from that, it doesn't support any other inheritance. That is hybrid inheritance. Java does not support hybrid inheritance. Okay, clear with this, everyone? Response?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Next thing is hybrid, and then hierarchical will be there. So hierarchical, try to find out hierarchical inheritance, how it would be, and on the internet you will be finding it, or else let's find hierarchical inheritance. And as per your HOD madam instructions, tomorrow onwards, the class will be scheduled, what do you say, 5 to 6.
Again, yeah.
5 to 6 as per the instructions of your HOD madam. Tomorrow onwards, the class is going to be scheduled from 5 to 6. So this is what hierarchical inheritance. So your hybrid itself consists of the part can be called as hierarchical inheritance, right? So taking class B from A and class C from A, right? No problem. This is also going to support. No problem. Hierarchical is going to support. Okay. So this is what the thing. Mainly try to remember what you mean by single inheritance, taking one class from another class can be considered as what? Single inheritance. And next, multiple inheritance in the sense that deriving one class from two classes, and Java is not going to support multiple inheritance. Multi-level inheritance in the sense deriving a new class from an existing class, and from derived class deriving one more class can be called as what? Multi-level inheritance. Hybrid inheritance in the sense combination of different types of inheritance, especially multiple inheritance, then it can be called as hybrid inheritance. And Java is going to support mainly two inheritance. One is single inheritance, multi-level inheritance. Multi-level inheritance. Hierarchical inheritance, I will be giving you some thing. He's saying that combination of multi-level single inheritance possible అవుతుంది. Okay, yes, might be single inheritance, multi-level inheritance. Okay, no problem. No? Multi-level inheritance, single inheritance. But in the what way you are taking that matters a lot. Rule number 5 or someone else who had given that. Suppose we are taking a class like this. So this is multi-level inheritance, right? In this case, up to this you can consider it as single inheritance, and from here to here you can consider as single inheritance. But if you say something like this, there exists, this is class A, and this is class B, and this is class C. Suppose if you say something like this, class E is there, and from this class E, this B was derived, then it's not going to be what Java is not going to support it, because from A and E, your B is going to be derived. From B and C is going to be derived. So you might be saying that this is a combination of multi-level inheritance and single inheritance. If you are saying like this means, then it's not going to be considered. Only one thing that you need to look is if what a single class is extending from more than two classes means, then it's going to be a multiple inheritance. Your Java does not support it. Your Java compiler generates an error. Apart from that, any type of inheritance, it is going to be done. Okay. Clear? Response, students.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Any doubts in this types of inheritance? Students, respond. We are conducting for your sake, but you're not giving response means what's the meaning in that? Any doubts?
No, sir.
Can I proceed?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Right. And how to achieve this inheritance topic? We said that diagrammatically we are saying class A ఉంటుందిరా బాబు, class B నుంచి class A నుంచి B ని తీసుకున్నాను, తర్వాత B నుంచి C ని తీసుకున్నాను, C నుంచి D ని తీసుకున్నాను అని చెప్పేసి what I said like that. But how we are achieving this inheritance topic in Java? This inheritance topic is achieved in Java with the help of extends keyword. With the help of what? Extends keyword. With the help of extends keyword, we are achieving inheritance topic. And how we are achieving this inheritance topic means to link between two classes, we use a keyword called extends. We use a keyword called extends. Just now what I shown is there exists class A, and this class A, from this class A, we are deriving class B. How you are deriving this class B from class A? Here we'll be using some keyword called extends. Like just I'm writing one class, simple class A, which contains some set of variables as well as methods. Now what I'm doing is I'm going to take class B extends class A. Class B extends what? Class A. And I'm going to take some set of variables as well as methods. Now if I create an object of this class B, then I can access the members of this class B as well as I can access the members of class A. Both members I can access. I can access members of class A as well as the members of class B. And this B class can be called as subclass, derived class, or child class. And your A class can be called as superclass or parent class. A class can be called as superclass or a parent class. Okay. And if anybody asks you how we are achieving inheritance in Java, inheritance can be achieved by using a keyword called extends. By using a keyword called what? Extends. And how you are going to use this extends keyword? Let us assume that we have a class called A, and you want to extend this class B, as you want to extend this class A with another class. Then we'll be taking class B extends A, so that whatever the properties that we have in class A, all those properties will come into this class B. Mainly variables and methods will come from class A to what? Class B. Class A to what? Class B. Clear? Everyone?
Yes, sir.
Make
Yes.
it make
Yes,
it make a note of this, students, all of you fast. In C++, what you are going to use for extending a class? Do you remember it? What we are going to use? Gone in air.
class followed by semicolon, sir. And then derive
Class.
class name.
Semicolon is used, sir. Okay, good. At least few are remembered C++. Completed? So one semester gone already. This semester also online. Don't know how many are listening, how many are not listening. And we don't know about the next semester, how it is going to be. Hmm? One-to-one online sessions are very good, you know. 1-to-1, 1-to-2, 1-to-3, 1-to-4. Online sessions are excellent. But one-to-many is the worst. Completed?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Fine. Very good. So these are the points that we need to remember, that what will come if you extend a class with class B. Suppose we have a class A and I would like to extend that class A with another class called B. Then B is going to be child class, A is going to be parent class. What are all properties of A will come into B? Let's see. First point, what they're saying is a Java class cannot extend more than one class. If you are trying to extend more than one class, then Java compiler generates an error, right? So multiple inheritance is not achieved through classes, and it is possible only by using interfaces. Now let's enter into the command prompt. And this slide, after discussing this slide, I will be closing the session, don't worry. Just I'm taking one simple example over here, notepad space a.java. Okay. So now what I'm doing is I'm going to take class called class space A, opening brace, closing brace, class space B, opening brace and closing brace, right? So now what I'm doing is I'm going to take something like extends A, so that whatever the properties that I'm going to have in A, all those properties will come into B. And how it's going to come, that I will be discussing later. I'm going to take Java C space a.java. There won't be any error at all. And if you compile, if you run it, then it asks us no main method. Now I'm going to take one more class called class C. I'm going to take class C extends class A. Save it. So is there any error in this case? Is there any error? Any error?
No, sir.
So compile it. You will not be getting any error over there, because what's the first point is talking about here? What's the first point is talking about here? Java class cannot extend more than one class. If you're trying to extend more than one class, then Java compiler generates an error. But what we are done here, we are taken one single class, and from this class I taken B, and from this class I'm taking what? C. Very simple. One, what parent can have multiple children. Parent can have what? Multiple children. Then there won't be any problem over here, right? So this is what thing. Next thing is I'm going to take class B, class C extends A comma B. Class C extends A comma B. So what happens here? A Java class cannot extend more than one class, but I'm trying to extend more than one class over here, A comma B. Just I'm going to take this, then it's giving some error, expected base, right? So we are not in a position to extend more than one class. If you're trying to extend more than one class, then Java compiler generates an error. Just I'm taking some space and then I'm executing it. Again, it generates what? Error. Again, it generates what? Error over there. Okay. So we are not in a position to extend more than one class. Okay. Clear with the first point? A Java class cannot extend more than one class. If you're trying to do that, then Java compiler generates an error. Clear the first point, everyone? Response, students?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Fine. The next thing is constructors are not inherited. You can see over here, constructors will not come. Constructors will not come into the child class since they are not members of the class. The members of the class can be considered as only variables and methods. That's it. So apart from that, blocks and constructors are not going to be considered as the members, and they won't come into your child class. They won't come into your child class. Clear? Clear with this? Everyone try to remember these points. Public.
Sir,
Yeah, go ahead, Srikar.
static method inherit అవుతుందా సార్?
It will. Methods will come. Any method
Okay,
it might be. Fine. Next thing is public default protected members are inherited. Public, if you take public members, or if you take default, or if you take protected, all those members are going to be inherited, whereas the private members are not going to be inherited. If you take inside class A, if you are taking a private member called private int space x, then that private member cannot be inherited into our child class. Okay. And next thing is, this is very, very important. Remember throughout your life, students, very, very important. If you're not able to remember this point, doesn't matter, but this point is very, very important. The first time you are listening the word called object is the superclass of all classes. Every class directly or indirectly inherited from object class. Every class is directly or indirectly inherited from object class. Object is a superclass of all classes. If you take any class in Java, that class is automatically inherited from object class, automatically inherited from your object class. If you're not going to take that also, Java compiler is going to include it. So where this object class will be there, this object class will be there in a package called java.lang package. In a package called what? Java.lang package. We have a package called java.lang, and in that java.lang package, we have a class called object class. And that object class consists of some set of methods, and I will be discussing those things when time comes. Okay, try to remember that object is a superclass of all classes. Now what I'm doing is, I'm going to remove all these things, and I would like to show you whether object class is extending our this A class is extending object class or not. Just I'm going to save it. I'm going to save it. There is only one class called class A. Now I'm going to compile it, a.java, java c space a.java. And after that, I'm going to use a command called java p space a.class. So, okay, actually, we need to get it. Okay. In documentation, we might be seeing it. Okay, directly or indirectly. That means if you are going to take like this also, internal code of this is going to be like this. Extends java.lang.obj. Extends java.lang.obj. If you are going to take like this also, there won't be any problem, because it is going to generate it. If you are not going to take it, the Java compiler is going to generate it. Okay. Clear with this, students? Object is a superclass of all classes, and what does that object contains and all we'll be discussing. If you are taking like this, and you need to get one more doubt, if you are taking without any of these things, then automatically your Java compiler is going to generate it. Java.lang.object. Suppose if you are going to take like this, class B extends A అన్నప్పుడు ఇప్పుడు class A extend అవుతుంది. So class B is extending from class A. So what I said, every class is directly or indirectly. Every class of an object is a superclass of all classes. You might be asking, sir, B is extended with another class called A. Then for B also object is going to be super? Yes, obviously it is correct. And in that case, how the scenario is going to be? A is a class and B is extending A. if you're not going to take this instruction here, extends java.lang.obj object, automatically your automatically it is going to be there, right? If you're not going to write it, Java compiler is going to write it, right? So what happens is this A is going to for this A object is a superclass. For this A object is a superclass, and for this B, who is a superclass? A is a superclass. For A, who is a superclass? B is a superclass. That means this B is directly or indirectly getting the properties of object class. Directly or indirectly getting the properties of what? Object class. Clear? Clear, students, everyone? Class A undira. Class A undi. ఈ class A ఏం ఎక్స్టెండ్ చేయట్లేదని మనం అనుకుంటున్నాం, బట్ జావా కంపైలర్ ఏం చేస్తుందంటే ఎక్స్టెండ్స్ java.lang.object అని చెప్పేసి తీసుకుంది. ఆ తర్వాత క్లాస్ బి ఉంది, క్లాస్ బి ఎక్స్టెండ్స్ ఏ అన్నాను. అప్పుడు ఇండైరెక్ట్ గా ఏమవుతుందంటే క్లాస్ బి ఎక్స్టెండింగ్ ఏ అండ్ ఏ వాజ్ ఎక్స్టెండెడ్ బై ఫ్రమ్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్ క్లాస్. ఇండైరెక్ట్లీ ఫర్ బి ఆల్సో ఆబ్జెక్ట్ ఈస్ గోయింగ్ టు బికమ్ సూపర్ క్లాస్. ఓకే, suppose I am going to take something like class C, opening brace and closing brace. Now this class C, I'm not going to take any class over there. If I'm not going to extend any class, then automatically the Java compiler is going to take like this. Class C extends java.lang.object. Okay, clear with this, students?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So we'll stop here. This is what the programmer's code. Suppose I'm going to take class-based demo, and the compiler code is going to be class-based demo extends what? Object. Extends what? Object java.lang.obj. Actually, you need to get it when we are going to type java p space a.java. We need to get here itself, but it's not generating over here. Okay, fine. Clear with this, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Sir.
So this is a basic introduction about inheritance, and tomorrow's session will be going with what happens when we create superclass object, what happens when we call subclass object, and something we need to discuss, and which is going to be covered in polymorphism also. Okay, and then super variable, all these things we'll be discussing. Okay, and try to revise these things. I already shared the PPT with you. At least today onwards, try to practice the programs and all. Okay, fine. And I won't trouble you much. Every day I used to take 45 minutes. That's it. Apart from that, I'm not going to take much time of yours, and come for another 2 to 3 classes. That's it. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Fine. If you have any doubts, you can stay. Otherwise, you can leave.
Thank you, sir.
And it's a good time for us to ask the doubts and all. If you don't have patience, you can leave. If you have a patience, you can ask.
Sir,
Yeah, speaker, go ahead.
జనరల్ గా C++ దగ్గర సినారియో ఎలా ఉంటుందంటే పైన క్లాస్ ఉంటుంది, కింద మెయిన్ ఉంటుంది. సో ప్రైవేట్ అని పెట్టుకున్న వేరియబుల్ ఏది కూడా ఆబ్జెక్ట్ తో యాక్సెస్ చేయడానికి ఉండదు కదా సార్?
క్లాస్ లోపల మెయిన్ తీసుకుంటేనా?
కాదు సార్, C++ లో మెయిన్
బయట రాస్తాం. రైట్
కానీ
అర్థమైంది.
కానీ ఇక్కడ మనం జావా దగ్గరికి వచ్చేసరికి క్లాస్ లోపల మెయిన్ ఉంటుంది కదా సార్? మరి ఇది ఆబ్జెక్ట్ ద్వారా ప్రైవేట్ మెంబర్స్ ని యాక్సెస్ చేసుకోగలదా సార్?
క్లాస్ లోపల మనం మెయిన్ రాసినప్పుడు,
క్లాస్ లోపల మెయిన్ రాసినప్పుడు
ఇప్పుడు శ్రీకర్ ఏం జరుగుతుందంటే క్లాస్ ఏ, క్లాస్ బి, క్లాస్ ఏని క్లాస్ ఏ ఉంది, క్లాస్ బి ఉంది, క్లాస్ బి ఎక్స్టెండింగ్ క్లాస్ ఏ, అజ్యూమ్ దట్. ఓకే, అండ్ ఐఎమ్ నాట్ రైటింగ్ మెయిన్ ఇన్ క్లాస్ ఏ, ఐఎమ్ రైటింగ్ మెయిన్ ఇన్ క్లాస్ బి. సో ఏలో ప్రైవేట్ మెంబర్ ఉందనుకోండి, బిలో యాక్సెస్ చేయడానికి పాసిబిలిటీ ఉండదు.
ఉండదు సార్.
అదే నువ్వు మెయిన్ మెథడ్ తీసుకెళ్లి ఏలోనే రాసావు అనుకో, యాక్సెస్ చేయొచ్చు.
మరి అప్పుడు అది అబ్స్ట్రాక్షన్ ప్రిన్సిపల్ ని ఓవర్ అంటే
సి మెథడ్ బిలాంగ్స్ టు ద సేమ్ క్లాస్ శ్రీకర్.
ఓకే సార్.
మెథడ్ అనేది సేమ్ క్లాస్ లోనే ఉంటుంది కదా. అంటే ఇక్కడ బట్ ఇచ్చిన ఇంటెన్షన్ ఏం చెప్తున్నాడు అంటే ప్రైవేట్ మెంబర్ అన్న పదం ఉంది అంటే అది క్లాస్ లోపలనే వాడుకోవాలి అంతే, క్లాస్ బయట మీరు యూజ్ చేయకూడదు అని చెప్తున్నాడు అంతే తప్ప. బట్ మెయిన్ మెథడ్ ఇది. ఇప్పుడు నేనేం చెప్పాను నీకు, క్లాస్ ఏ క్లాస్ బి ఉంది, క్లాస్ బి ఎక్స్టెండింగ్ క్లాస్ ఏ అన్నాను. మెయిన్ మెథడ్ బిలో రాసినప్పుడు ఏ ఒక్క ప్రైవేట్ మెంబర్స్ ని నేను యాక్సెస్ చేయడానికి లేదు.
అవును సార్.
అర్థమైంది? అలా చేస్తే ఎర్రర్ వస్తుంది. అదే మీరు ఏలోనే మెయిన్ మెథడ్ రాశారు, ఏలోనే మెయిన్ మెథడ్ రాశారు, అప్పుడు మీరు ప్రైవేట్ మెంబర్స్ ని యాక్సెస్ చేయొచ్చు. మెయిన్ మెథడ్ ఏలోనే రాశారు కాబట్టి, ఆ ప్రైవేట్ మెంబర్ ఏలోనే యాక్సెసిబుల్ ఉంటుంది కాబట్టి.
ఓకే సార్. సార్ అయితే ఇప్పుడు ఏలోనే మెయిన్ మెథడ్ రాసాము, ఏని బిలోకి ఇన్హెరిట్ చేస్తున్నప్పుడు మెయిన్ మెథడ్ కూడా ఇన్హెరిట్ అవుతుందా సార్?
Yeah, that's another important thing. Let's check it now itself. Very good question. Extends A. అప్పుడు ఇన్హెరిట్ అవుతే నువ్వు మెయిన్ కాల్ చేస్తావా?
అవ్వదు కదా సార్ కాల్ చేయడానికి.
ఎందుకు అవ్వదు? మెయిన్ స్టాటిక్ మెథడే కదా.
కాల్ చేయొచ్చు సార్, కానీ ఆర్గ్యుమెంట్ ఏం తీసుకోవాలో అర్థం అవ్వట్లేదు.
స్ట్రింగ్
అలా ఇచ్చి చూసాం కానీ ఎందుకో రాలేదు సార్ మాకు అది కాల్ చేయడానికి మెయిన్ మెథడ్ లో. సేమ్ క్లాస్ లోనే కాల్ చేయడానికి ట్రై చేసాం ఒకసారి.
సేమ్ క్లాస్ లో కాల్ చేస్తే చేయొచ్చు.
అంటే లైక్ మనం బ్లాగ్స్ దగ్గర కాల్ చేసుకుంటాం కదా సార్ క్లాస్ లో ఉన్న మెథడ్స్ ని, అలా మెయిన్ ని కాల్ చేయడానికి ట్రై చేశాను కానీ నాకు సింటాక్స్ ఎలా ఇవ్వాలో అర్థం అవ్వలేదు.
ఓకే ఓకే, ఇప్పుడు నేను ఇక్కడ చేస్తున్నాను. జస్ట్ రైట్, ఐ విల్ షేర్ మై స్క్రీన్. Students, if you have time, you can listen this. If you don't have time, you can leave. It's not mandatory for you all. So class B extends A. Then I'm copying the same thing. ఇప్పుడు నీ ఇంటెన్షన్ ఏంటి? B నుంచి మెయిన్ మెథడ్ ని కాల్ చేయాలా శ్రీగర్?
అవును సార్.
B నుంచి మెయిన్ మెథడ్ ని కాల్ చేయాలంటే ఫస్ట్ A dot main of, within double quote you will be taking something like S1 comma within double quotes S2 within double quotes S3. Okay, some string I'm going to take. Let's save this program. So it's generating an error. Method main in class A cannot be applied to types. Okay. So actually for this we need to send command line arguments. It's not allowing us to call.
అంటే సిలో ఏఆర్జీవి ఏఆర్జీసీ ఇచ్చినట్టు ఇక్కడ కూడా కమాండ్ లైన్స్ ఇవ్వాలా సార్?
కమాండ్ లైన్ ఆర్గ్యుమెంట్స్ ఉంటాయి, టాపిక్ ఉంటుందని చెప్తాను. But when we send like this also it has to work, but it's not working. Okay, so it's not possible. I think I will get back to you, Srigar.
ఓకే సార్.
Your thing is whether main method will come into subclass or not, right?
ఎస్ సార్.
Fine. If it comes, and how we can call?
ఎస్ సార్.
Okay. Any other doubts, Srigar?
లేదు సార్, ప్రాక్టీస్ చేస్తున్నాను, మధ్యలో ఏమైనా డౌట్స్ ఇస్తాడు.
Okay, good. Try to practice it and even noting down this slide. Okay. Any doubts if you have, you can ask students, otherwise you can. Gayatri, any doubt?
Sir,
అమ్మా ఏం వినిపించట్లేదమ్మా, వినిపించట్లేదు. గాయత్రి వినిపించట్లేదమ్మా. You can type the message, Gayatri. I will be available for you. Gayatri, any doubts? సార్ కీబోర్డ్ నుంచి ఇన్పుట్ ని తీసుకోవడానికి స్కానర్ క్లాస్ కూడా యూజ్ చేయవచ్చు కదా? ఎస్, యూజ్ చేయొచ్చు. బట్ స్కానర్ క్లాస్ గురించి చెప్తే బఫర్ రీడర్ ఎవరు చదవరు. అందుకే స్కానర్ క్లాస్ థర్డ్ యూనిట్ లో కానీ ఫోర్త్ యూనిట్ లో కానీ చెప్తాం అనుకుంటున్నాను. ఫోర్త్ యూనిట్ లో చెప్పేస్తాం. అప్పుడు ఎండింగ్ వచ్చేస్తాం కాబట్టి ప్రాబ్లం లేదు. వద్దంటే చెప్పు. ఓకే, ఫైన్. ప్రాక్టీస్ చేస్తున్నావా? ఆండ్రాయిడ్ స్టార్ట్ చేసావా? Gayatri. Okay, fine, good.